Logical morning. Welcome to Vidikya presents the Hindu newspaper analysis. Today's session will have following segment. First, overview of today's newspaper. Second, must know topics and explanation. And third, quiz time with 5 important questions. So starting with first segment, that is overview of today's newspaper. So the first topic here is world shocked by Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine. In previous lectures, we have discussed about Russia-Ukraine crisis. And yesterday, Russia has launched a full-scale invasion of Ukraine. However, it is more about what other countries are saying, and there is nothing much to read. I mean, for your interest, you can read, but there is nothing interesting from your exam perspective. So many countries are imposing sanctions, and in this related to this topic, we have discussed Minsk Accord, we have discussed NATO, we have discussed Nord Stream gas pipeline. We have discussed the Donbas region. Earlier, we have also discussed the two separatist group operating in Donbas region, that is Donetsk and Luhansk. So there is nothing much that you have to read from this. Just for your interest, you can just read from this newspaper. Another topic is cabinet approves e-waste eco park. So in this topic, we'll discuss about what is e-waste and why this e-waste eco park is important, because e-waste has many challenges and what are those challenges, and then we'll discuss how these challenges can be tackled. So this you must have read copter crash. IMD confirms low clouds at Kunnur last in the month of January when the Indian Air Force helicopter crashed in the Kunnur area, killing which led to the death of Chief of Defense Staff, that is Bipin Rawat. So there is a news report that came out that it shows that it confirms low cloud. Because of that, the accident happened. There was no fault. The investigation report tells that there was no fault of the pilot in command. So it was just mainly because of there is a term called control in flight command, something like that. That because of that, it was the accident that led to that led to happening of the accident, and it was not because of the fault of the pilot. It was because there was some low clouds at the Kunnur region that point of time, and because of that, the accident happened. This is interesting that unlike purda or burqa, hijab is an essential religious practice. So Article 25 of the Constitution it says that it is a fundamental right of an individual to profess, practice, propagate his or own religion. However, there is a question that has come in front of the Supreme Court in the case of Sabrimala also, that what constitute essential religious practices. So those essential in every religion there are certain essential religious practices that cannot be restricted. So in this case also the matter will go to court, and it will be discussed whether the hijab is an essential religious practice. So the court will look into the various scripture and then also consult with the community, with that community, and then court will decide whether it is an essential religious practice or not, because it becomes important if you are regulating particular activity, if you are regulating particular kind of clothing, you have to correlate it with the religion, that if certain practices in the religion are essential religious practices, then that cannot be banned, because Constitution of India under Article 25 provides right of religion as a fundamental right. So we will see when the court decide that whether burqa or hijab is essential religious practice or not. So topic is again about Russia NATO problem. We have discussed Russia and NATO issues, and this is also shaking of European security architecture. It is also talk about that Russia that and this NATO was born in 1949, and then there were countries. Then Soviet Union broke in 1991. After that, NATO continued to expand, and because of NATO's expansion, the Russia is fumed, and Russia that is carrying out its aggression. We have also discussed about 2014 Crimean Peninsula annexation by Russia, and then we have also discussed Nord Stream pipeline and like what are the issues related to it, from which country it originates, goes to which country. So this topic is also more related to Russia Ukraine crisis that we have already discussed in previous lectures. So this is quite a complex topic, and I don't think anything from this topic can come directly in the paper. So it is talking about blowing a new channel for India's food system. So it talks about a new science and so science society quality interface which is needed to improve India's food system. Food system is not only in terms of production, it's terms of quality, nutrition, and like affordability, accessibility of the food. So it talks about various aspect like agroclimatic approach to agriculture. Agroclimatic approach means showing those crop in those area which are meant, showing those crop in the area which can be shown easily, unlike like the area which are not rain fed, which where there is a lack of irrigation problem. And but because of the subsidy and because of the available irrigation infrastructure, the states like Punjab, Haryana grows paddy at to a large extent, and which led to the depletion of groundwater table. So it talks about what are the current challenges in that. So there is this topic also talk about a story of a previous a story of a book, and then it talks about MSP also. So there is nothing conclusively in this article that can come directly from this topic in your exam. So we'll not discuss this. So this topic, Modi talks to Putin, calls for ceasefire. So last night, Prem Modi and President of Russia Putin had a phone call in which Prime Minister Modi appealed for a ceasefire and asked him to look for a peaceful option. Then Jay Shankar speaks, UK minister. This is also related to European Union, Russia and Ukraine crisis. Word shocked by Russia's invention, same article. SC clears deck for release of Gangubai Kathabedi. It is related to the movie that released, so SC clears the release of this movie. So this is political news. We have discussed in one of our lecture about Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. This topic is important. SC says Tribunals Act goes against its order. In this topic, we will not discuss what SC says. Tribunals against, SC says Tribunals against goes against its order. So we will not discuss. What is important from this topic is what are tribunals and how tribunals are constituted. What are the constitutional provisions related to tribunals. So last year, what happened? An enactment was challenged in the Supreme Court, and Supreme Court struck down that enactment. However, the central government again passed the similar enactment with similar provision. That's why SC says that the Tribunals Act goes against its previous order. So this is not important. What is important about the basics of the tribunals. Then this topic, Navy gets 12 P-8I aircraft from Boeing. We'll discuss what is this Poseidon aircraft. This is also related to Ukraine-Russia crisis that we have discussed all the aspects related to this. And then this topic, Russia aggression on Ukraine and international law. In this topic, we'll discuss some articles related to UN Charter, what can be done in case of when you can use self-defense, and what happens when a country violates the international principle, and what are those articles. So we'll discuss those articles which talks about self-defense and principle of violation of international law. So we'll discuss 2-3 articles. There are 3 articles, that is Article 2 Clause 3 of UN Charter, Article 2 Clause 4 of UN Charter, and Article 51 of UN Charter. And this is an interesting topic, understanding the Indus Water Treaty. So we'll discuss about Indus Water Treaties. There are 6 rivers. Then we'll discuss which river comes under which country's jurisdiction, and which organization led to the brokering of this treaty. So we'll discuss in detail about Indus Water Treaty. So that's all into this newspaper. Now we'll discuss like explanation of this topic. So first, Cabinet approves e-waste eco park. Navy gets 12 P-8I aircraft from Boeing. SC says Tribunals Act goes against its order. The Russian aggression on Ukraine and international law in this water treaty. So the first topic is Cabinet approves e-waste eco park. Point for discussion: why in news e-waste issues. So Delhi Cabinet on Thursday approved setting up of an e-waste eco park. So you have to remember, it is by Delhi government of e-waste eco park. So currently Delhi released this much tons of e-waste every year, which is mainly handled by informal recycler. So first thing we are seeing here, informal recyclers. At this eco park, recycling, refurbishing, and dismantling of waste will be done in scientific and environmentally safe manner. E-waste. First, we will discuss what is e-waste. E-waste or electronic waste is created when an electronic product is discarded after the end of its use life. So it's very simple. Like after when the end life of an electronic product is over, then you discard that product, and that becomes e-waste. And because of the rising technology, science and technology, because of the rising innovation and industrial revolution 4, there is a rise of e-waste, because as you see, the number of mobiles, laptops are increasing, and other electronic equipments are also on rise. So because of this is a problem of e-waste. The e-waste is increasing. So what are the challenges? that it is being recycled in informal sector. Most of around 80 to 90% of e-waste is being recycled in informal sector. What are the challenges? These informal people are not skilled. They do not know how to recycle these, and they work in poor condition. They do not have any skills. They do not know how to do, and they are not aware of the challenges of this. So it makes difficult that if the recycling does not happen in a scientific way, it will lead to pollution because toxins, chemicals are released from e-waste when these are recycled. So it can lead to air pollution, water pollution, and soil pollution. So these are the challenges. So that is why it is important that recycling should happen in a scientific manner. So for scientific manner, what needs to be done? We need to skill these recycle. Those people who work in this e-waste recycling factory should be skilled, and it should be done in a formal sector so that all the norms and regulations are followed. There are standard operating procedures which can be followed while recycling. So with the help of with the help of formal recycling and recycling in scientific manner, what will happen? Most of the product will be recycled, so it will generate less waste because it generate less waste, and this recycle waste can be used again in building some other equipment. So that is why it is important that we need to shift from informal to formal, need to informal from formal recycling, and then we have to skill our workforce in this sector. So these are things which can be done, like formalization of recycling factories, providing skills to them, standard operating procedures, and collection of e-waste is important. So all this is there. So that is why this e-waste eco park was approved in Delhi. Article 2, Supreme Court says Tribunals Act goes against its order. We have discussed what Supreme Court has said, but now we will discuss about tribunals and constitutional provisions. First thing, tribunals are quasi-judicial body constituted under Article 320A, 323B of Constitution of India, two articles, 323A and 323B of Constitution of India. So initially when Constitution of India was drafted, these two articles were not there. So tribunals were not provided under original constitution. However, with the 42nd amendment that happened in 1976, Article 32A, 323A, 323B was inserted in Constitution of India, providing for the Constitution of Tribunal. Now there is difference between Article 323A, 323B. So 323, Article 323A. This is Article 323A. So it empowers Parliament. First thing you have to remember, under Article 323A, it empowers Parliament, not state government, to provide for establishment of administrative tribunals that resolve dispute related to recruitment and service conditions of person engaged in public services. It is related to administrative tribunal for disputes related to service matter of public services or persons engaged in service. So it is related to only public service matter. So first thing you have to remember, it is related to public service matter, and no other dispute can be brought under the tribunal's constitution under Article 323A. And under Article 323A, only Parliament is empowered. So in the 1985, Parliament passed Tribunals Act. And under this, Central Administrative Tribunal was constituted. And under Article 323A also, the Parliament on the request of state government, can constitute administrative tribunal in states for dealing with matter related to public services to the person employed in state government. So under Central Administrative Tribunal, it will be for those person employed in central government, and under State Administrative Tribunal, those person who are employed under state government. So, but in both the cases, the power to establish tribunal is with Parliament. Now, how 223 is different? So it tribunals for other matters. So in 323A, we have discussed tribunal for service matter, for related to public services. For other matter, under Article 323, tribunals for other matter can be established, such as taxation, industrial labor, foreign exchange, land reform, food. So all this. So you remember, now you know the difference between 323A and 323B. In this, only Parliament is empowered. In this, both Parliament and state both can both can constitute tribunal, and under Article 323, tribunals for administrative tribunal for service matter, and under 323b, tribunal for other matter. So this is the basic difference between these two, and you have to remember it was inserted by 42nd Amendment in 1976. So we have discussed the important topics, important provisions, and important points related to tribunals, which can be directly asked in your CLAT examination, that by which constitutional amendment Article 323A, 323 was inserted, and what are the provisions related to it, and then they can ask difference between Article 323A and 323B. Article number 3, Navy gets 12 P-8I aircraft from Boeing. So not much news from this topic. So you just have to remember, like, because last year they was related to Dassault, Rafale. So this time they can ask like many new things. Like one day we discussed about indigenous aircraft carrier INS Vikrant. So along with this, they can combine this article and can ask that P-8I is a long-range maritime reconnaissance and anti-submarine warfare. So it is a maritime reconnaissance and anti-submarine warfare aircraft. It is a patrolling aircraft, and it guides other aircraft nearby to and gives the information related to the movement of the submarines, movement and ship on other aircraft of other countries in India's zone. So now you have to remember it is manufactured by Boeing from USA. So Boeing USA, and it is a patrolling, or you can say also maritime reconnaissance and anti-submarine warfare aircraft. So this is, you have to remember, that is, it is manufactured and built and manufactured by Boeing, country USA, patrolling aircraft. And Indian Navy become the first international customer of P-8. P-8I is an advanced version of P-8. So Indian Navy become the first international customer for P-8 aircraft in 2009. So India gets 12. So now India has 12 P-8I aircraft. So that's all for this topic. The next topic is Russia aggression on Ukraine and international law. In this, we have already discussed about Russia, Ukraine, so we will not discuss, but we'll discuss how Russia's aggression is in violation of international law. So that we will discuss. So UN Charter. When UN was constituted in 1945, and UN has 6 principal organs, that is UNGA, that is UN General Assembly, UNSC Security Council, United Nations Economic and Social Council, then Trusteeship Council, then Secretariat, and then ICJ, that is International Court of Justice. These are 6 principal organs of UN. UN was formed in 1945. Now, what does UN Charter says? Article 2, Clause 4 of UN Charter. The principle is enshrined in Article 2.4 of the UN Charter, requiring states it requires the state to refrain from using force or threat of using force against territorial integrity or political independence of any state. It prohibits any kind of forcible trespassing in the territory of another state, even if it is for temporary or limited operation, such as in and out operation. The Russia attack on Ukraine is a violative of non-intervention principle and amount to aggression under international law. So Article 2, Clause 4, it is a non-intervention principle. So it says that it asks states to refrain from using force or threatening using force against the territorial integrity or political independence of any state. So since Russia has launched invasion against Ukraine, therefore under this article, Russia has violated the non-intervention principle of international law. So this is, you have to remember that Article 2, Clause 4 of UN Charter is related to non-intervention principle. So Russia has violated this article of UN Charter, this provision of UN Charter. Now Article 2, Clause 3 of UN Charter. It requires the state to settle their dispute by peaceful means in order to preserve international peace and security. So Article 2, Clause 3 says settlement of dispute through peaceful means to preserve international peace and security. So we have discussed Article 2, Clause 4 and Article 2, Clause 3. That Article 2, Clause 3 is a non-intervention principle, and Article 2, Clause 3 says that settlement of dispute through peaceful means in order to preserve international peace and security. So these are the 2 important articles that you have to remember. Now one more article, Article 15.1 of the UN Charter. So UN Charter Under Article 51 authorizes a state to resort to individual or collective self-defense until the UNSC takes steps to ensure international peace and security. In this case, it seems implausible for UNSC to arrive at a decision as Russia is a permanent member and veto power. So Article 1551 says that in case of an invasion, in case of any attack like Russia did on Ukraine, so the country has this article authorized country to resort to self-defense, either individually or with the help of other country. So under Article 51, now Ukraine is authorized to resort to self-defense alone also, and with the help of Ukraine can also ask help from other countries till the time UNSC decides on the future course of action. And we have discussed is the principal organ UNSC. In one of the explained session we have discussed about UNSC. There are permanent member P5, and the main objective of UNSC is to ensure international peace and security. So why this is problematic? Because it says until the UNSC takes steps to ensure international peace and security. But in Russia-Ukraine crisis, it is difficult that UNSC will come up with a solution, because in USC, Russia is a permanent member and having veto power. So whatever the resolution UNSC is trying to pass against Russia will block that move, because Russia is a permanent member and Russia has veto power. So that is why it is difficult for you. It is not possible that UNSC will take any action as such, because Russia will veto that resolution. So in this case, now the option with Ukraine is under Article 15 of UN Charter to resort to the self-defense alone and can ask other countries for the help as well. So these three articles you have to remember. We have discussed about UN and the principal organ of UN, that there are 6 principal organ of UN. And the last topic, understanding the Indus Water Treaty, was we will discuss that after partition, the Indus River, the Indus River basin divided between India and Pakistan. So there are issues related to sharing of water. So initially there was a agreement for short period of time, but later a full-fledged treaty was signed between both the countries that we will discuss. So why in news? A 10-member delegation from India will visit Pakistan on February 28 to attend the 117th meeting of Permanent Indus Commission. So there is a Permanent Indus Commission on the base of Indus Water Treaty. Indus Water Treaty was signed in 1960 between India and Pakistan. So this is, you have to remember, Indus Water Treaty in 1960 between India and Pakistan. So now we'll discuss about Indus Water Treaty. So in 1947, the line of partition, aside from delineating geographical boundaries for India and Pakistan, also cuts the Indus River into two. So partition also cut the water in two. So this Indus water also divided in two parts because of the partition. Both the sides were dependent of water from Indus River basin for their irrigation. So both the sides were dependent on water from Indus River basin, both the countries. Therefore, infrastructure and equitable distribution was needed. Initially, the Inter-Dominion Accord of May 1984 was adopted, under which India would supply water to Pakistan in exchange for an annual payment. So earlier, the accord was signed in which India will supply water to Pakistan on exchange of annual payment. This agreement, however, soon disintegrated as both the countries could not agree upon common interpretation. There was some disagreement between the both countries, and therefore this agreement could not continue for longer, and it got disintegrated. So after this, there was a long negotiations going on, and finally, after long negotiations, in 1960, after nearly a decade of negotiation, an agreement was reached between the two countries, leading to signing of Indus Water Treaty. So in 1960, Indus Water Treaty was signed between India and Pakistan. One thing you have to remember, that they can ask which organization played important role. So World Bank brokered the treaty. World Bank brokered the treaty between India and Pakistan and led to the signing of Indus Water Treaty. So this is, you have to remember. So finally, 1996, after nearly a decade, we have discussed important point of Indus Water Treaty. So important points we will discuss. Okay. It also requires both the countries to establish a permanent Indus Commission constituted by permanent commissioner on both sides. First thing is Permanent Indus Commission, which will meet regularly in order to settle any dispute and to discuss what changes and what things could be done to better utilize the water from Indus River basin. So now in the Indus River basin, there are 6 rivers. First is Indus, then Ravi, Byas, Chenab, Jhelum, and Satluj. There are 6 rivers. So under Indus Water Treaty, 3 rivers came in the jurisdiction of India, and the water of 3 rivers will be given to Pakistan. So for India, the 3 rivers were Ravi, Byas, Satluj, and Pakistan. 3 rivers were Indus, Chenab, Jhelum. However, the water that will go from these river to Pakistan, India can also use the water, but cannot use the water to make storage to make dam. India can make dam only runoff river irrigation, runoff irrigation project. There are different type of dam. One is like storage dam where water will be stored, and then it will be used later. And then another is another type of dam for producing electricity where the water continuously flows, where the water continuously keep flowing, and with the use of the flow, the electricity will be produced. And India can also use this water for irrigation purpose to a certain extent. So you have to remember about 1960 treaty, Permanent Indus Commission, World Bank. You have to remember the 3 rivers in the Indian side, 3 rivers in the Pakistan side, and then you have to remember that India's water treaty also provided 3-step dispute resolution mechanism. So there is a dispute resolution mechanism. It is a 3-step under which issue can be first resolved at commission. First at permanent commission level. If that fails, either side can approach the World Bank. Second step, if this does not work out, then go to approach bank, which acted as a broker mediator. And then third step is eventually if either party is still not satisfied, matter can be referred to court of arbitration. Matter can be referred to International Court of Arbitration. So these are 3-step mechanism. So in this topic, we have discussed what was the earlier issue, that because of partition, the water also divided, the river basin also divided, but both the countries needed water. So there was earlier agreement between 1948. However, due to certain disagreement, this could not continue. Then later, 1960, IWT, Indus Water Treaty signed. We have discussed the rivers in sides of India and Pakistan. And then we have discussed the 3-step dispute resolution mechanism. And then we have also discussed that setting up of Permanent Indus Commission, which will meet regularly to discuss any issues related to Indus water basin. Now it's time for G quiz. The 5 important questions related to today's discussion. Question number 1, Indus Water Treaty was signed in which year? Your options are 1948, 1951, 1960, 1961. And the correct option is 1960. Question number 2, P-8I Poseidon aircraft is purchased by India from which country? Your options are Russia, France, USA, none of the above. The correct option is USA. That is from Boeing. Question number 3, which constitutional amendment provided for the tribunals in the constitution? Your options are 38, 42nd, 44, 46. The correct option is 42nd constitutional amendment in the year 1976. It led to insertion of Article 323A and 323B in the Constitution of India. Question number 4, which of the following river falls under the Indian jurisdiction as per Indus Water Treaty 1960? So water from which rivers is exclusively for India under Indus Water River Treaty? Your options are Satluj, Byas, Ravi, all of the above. The correct answer will be all of the above. We have discussed in Pakistan, India. Pakistan, there are 3 rivers: Indus, Jhelum, Chenab, India, Satluj, Ravi, Byas. Last question, which article of UN Charter authorizes a state to resort to individual or collective self-defense until the Security Council takes steps to ensure international peace and security? Your options are Article 2, Clause 3 of UN Charter, Article 2, Clause 4 of UN Charter, Article 51 of UN Charter, none of them. The correct option is Article 51. Article 2 clause says dispute through peaceful means. Article 2 clause 4 related to non-intervention principle. So in this Article 50 will be discussed because Russia is a member of UNSC. Russia is a permanent member of UNSC. And we have discussed in UNSC there are 15 members. 5 are permanent and 10 are non-permanent. Non-permanent are selected for 2 years And these 5 permanent members have veto power with them. So India in last year selected for the UNSC non-permanent member for the 8th time. So this is the basic information related to UNSC. And we have also discussed 6 principal organ of UNSC, that UN, UNSC, UN Secretariat, UN General Assembly, UN ECOSOC, Economic and Social Council. We have discussed Trusteeship Council, and we have discussed International Court of Justice. So that's all for today's session. Stay logical with Vidya, your best pal in CLAT preps.